across to breaking news that we are just getting. We are being told that the Tata Group, the holding company of that group, Tata Sons, is likely to have emerged as the winner of the bidding for Air India, with a panel of ministers perhaps going to be giving it its final approval. Now, we are being told that the formal announcement is going to be made in a short while from now, but it is a huge win for disinvestment in this country, because remember that the government has been trying to disinvest Air India for a while now. The first time that they floated a tender for Air India was in 2017, and thereafter now, today, of course, it's a huge win for the government as well. Abhishek Kapoor on the phone line with me. Good morning, Abhishek. Give us more details of what we are learning. We are told that the holding company of the Tata Group, the Tata Sons, is likely to be winning this bid.
Well, what we have to tell you, Nupur, is that by the end of the upgraded process, and by the time that the Committee of Ministers headed by Home and Corporations Minister Amit Shah was set up, there were only two bidders left, the Tatas and the promoter of SpiceJet earlier in his personal capacity, Mr. Ajay Singh. Now, what we're getting to here is that of the two bids, the Tatas have a better bid. So essentially, they kind of get ahead and become the favorites so far as the final decision-making of the Committee of Ministers is concerned. It should happen anytime soon, and subsequent to which an announcement would be made. So this is about information about a bidding process coming in, and information coming in about the bids, and the Tatas sort of trumping the next best bidder by a wide margin of about 5,000 crore rupees. So what we are getting to here is that whatever the set price was set by the government, the Tatas bid about 3,000 crore rupees more, and it was ahead of the next bidder, which is Mr. Ajay Singh, by a wide margin. So in that sense, the Tata become the natural choice so far as the bidding process, or the upgraded bidding process, is concerned, Nupur. So that's the information we're getting to here. Obviously, the government has to still go through its process of the committee making that final suggestion, and the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and ultimately the cabinet accepting the decision, following which an announcement would be made. Remember, this is we're talking on Friday. The next cabinet happens on Wednesday. So there's still some days before a finality emerges insofar as a cabinet decision on this process is concerned, or a stamping of the cabinet approval is concerned. But then, going by the bid process, the Tata seem to have come one up and become natural claimants for the aging yet legacy airline company of the Government of India.
Right now, Abhishek, we were getting reports that the Committee of Ministers, which was looking into the disinvestment of Air India, was headed, of course, by the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah. And, that is where the bids have been discussed at length. Can you give us more clarity on that aspect as well?
Well, yes, Nupur. So, it has been a very difficult, long, winding bidding process. And a situation had reached where a former civil aviation minister had very famously said that, Air India can be given for 1 rupee. I mean, because of the debt situation, insofar as the airline is concerned. I think there has been a bit of a turnaround in terms of paying of debt. The bids, we are told by sources, were opened, and the committee that has the power to approve the sale, it will have to now go into those numbers and figures. As I said, there were only two bidders left after the upgraded, spooned up bidding process, which left Air India with suitors in Tata Group and SpiceJet Chairman Ajay Singh. Again, it has to be underscored, in his private capacity. So, I mean, this is the basic information that is there as of now. The Committee of Ministers, which is headed by Home Minister Amit Shah and has Civil Aviation Minister as part of it, is now going to look at. I mean, they need not go into the technicality of bids anymore, is what we are getting to here. They have to just go by the numbers and make a final approval. As I said, the process is that the Committee of Ministers would make a suggestion or a recommendation, which will have to go via the ministry to the cabinet for its final approval for sale of the legacy airliner, so the legacy airline, and then the final announcement happened. So we are again underscoring it's still some days, because remember the next cabinet happens on Wednesday, and only by then we would actually get a final approval or a stamping of the cabinet on the decision. But then, given the process and the transparency with which it has gone through, I think what sources tell us has to be believed that the Tatas have come up one up on the next bidder, the only two of them, and hence they become natural claimants for Air India.
Right. Abhishek, if you can also tell us about, this was the second bid really that the government had actually tried to do when it comes to, having a nearly 26% stake earlier, and that did not happen. And this is on the second time that's been happening. Can you, help us explain the entire process, what had happened before and now?
Well, yes, Amita. So, it has been a very long and difficult process of disinvestment so far as Air India is concerned. The airline has been riddled with debts and some legacy issues on the side of employee strength, for example, essentially being a public sector undertaking. At a one time, I think the debt had gone up to almost 50,000 plus crore rupees. I think over a period of time, it has been pared down to 26,000 crore rupees or some roundabout. But then still, it was a daunting task to get the bidders. In fact, the first time when the government came out with the bids a year and a half earlier, there were no suitors actually because of some difficulties in the bidding itself and the conditions that were put. I think subsequently another committee of secretaries or bureaucrats sat through it, and the bidding process was simplified. Certain conditions were made easier or less complicated. And that's when, in this round of bidding, there were two suitors at the Tata Group. Remember, they have originally owned the Air India, and before it was nationalized and taken over by the government. It was actually started by J.R.D. Tata. And so I think there was an element of that nostalgia value. There would be an element of nostalgia value, Amita and Nupur, if the airline goes back to the Tatas. But then, as I said, it's still some process away or some days away, because while in the bidding process, the Tatas have come up one up on their next bidder. It still has to go through the formality of the committee of secretaries, beg your pardon, committee of ministers, and taking a final decision and recommending the success of the bid, and then subsequently the bid getting a stamp of approval, the sale getting a stamp of approval from the cabinet, subsequent to which announcement would be made by the Civil Aviation Ministry in Nupur.
Absolutely. Abhishek, do stay with us. Also joining us on the phone line is senior economist Sharad Kohli. Mr. Kohli, good morning. Thank you for joining us. To begin with, how do you see what's panning out today? We are told that Air India could return to the Tata Sons 67 years after the airline was started.
Yes, absolutely. This is a classic case of homecoming, because an airline which was originated by the Tatas is pretty much coming back to them, going full circle, I would say. But I think the circle has been quite a, I would say, turbulent flight, because the kind of losses which Air India has accumulated is over 70,000 crores. If we look at the total debt, which is also a very, very big amount. So I think the Tatas would have to formulate a strategy as to how it plans to take this airline out of the red, where, the whole aviation economy, the aviation industry is going through tumultuous times. There are losses piling up. Some of the most profitable airlines in the country, like Indigo, is also struggling because of the pandemic. So I think it's not one of the best times when Tata would have probably wanted to have it in its lap. But because the process was going on much before the pandemic, it's been a long-drawn process, I would say. Air India bidding, then rebidding, then once the bidding was closed, nobody came forward, then it was again done. So I think it's going to be a tough call for Tatas to get it out of the red. And a very important aspect would be that what happens to the huge staff which Air India has built, Some of them are very
Right.
close to retirement.
Right.
Will it give a golden handshake? What happens to the future of those people is a big question which Tatas will have to answer.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Kohli, as you're pointing out, of course, there'll also be the question of the debt that has been accumulated by Air India over so many years. But for the moment, thank you for joining us.
I believe Captain Gopinath is also joining us here on the broadcast. Sir, good morning to you. Because, Tata is winning the bid to run Air India. And there has been a long-drawn history, sir, especially Tatas who have battled for Air India for decades, sir.
Yeah, I think it's good news. It brings a lot of cheer to the country, to the most important to the customers, because there'll be no monopolies. It's a crown jewel which has come back to the Tatas, and you always wonder why the government in the first place snatched away a well-run airline and ran it to the ground. But anyway, now Tatas have won it. It is an extraordinary moment for the Tatas and for the aviation industry. It's going to be a big challenge because the other two airlines of the Tatas are bleeding and hemorrhaging cash in a very fast pace. The third airline, Air India, is not in a good shape. It's overstaffed, overburdened. It is in the moribund state. But I think the Tatas have the capabilities if they put their heads together. And my advice would be they should combine all the three entities into one entity. That will bring in synergies and bring down the costs and build a robust, vibrant airline on the lines of British Airways and Air France and Qantas, which are all national, in Lufthansa, which are all airlines, which was national airlines, which was privatized. And they should take lessons out of that and do this. So it is, in a sense, poetic justice. The government is, in a way, can feel satisfied that they had done amends and returned the jewel which they had taken, which had got jaded, and back to the house of Tatas.
Absolutely, Captain Gopinath, for the Tatas, it is a legacy that returns to them after about 67 years. But it is a win for the government also because disinvestment has been big on the government's agenda. And this has, Air India was proving to be a problem, but that's now been resolved completely.
That's true, and I think by keeping Air India, they would have lost another 5,000 or 10,000 crores every year. So that bleeding will stop. And also, I think, jobs will be saved. And what also runs through my mind is that, if Air India, which debt and accumulated loss of 100,000 crores could be saved, why was Jet Airways and Kingfisher not saved? I mean, the promoters could have been prosecuted, but the airlines of Kingfisher and Jet should have been saved because their debt was only 6,000 to 10,000 crores. So they went after the promoters and forgot the employees. So I think I feel sad that those airlines were not saved because jobs must be saved and competition must thrive. Because when there are bankruptcies, you also create monopolies, and that's not good for the economy. Aviation is integral to the economy, and so I feel that sometimes the government's policies are skewed, that they view the public sector differently from the private sector. The blood runs in the employees of the private sector is no less red than the ones that runs in the public sector employees. Is Times Now less or CNBC less valuable than Doordarshan? They're all part of the economy, part of the nation building.
Sir. No, absolutely agree with you, sir. I believe Mr. Kohli also is with us, sir. Thank you for patiently waiting. But, sir, when it comes to the national carrier, how much has been lost, especially when it comes to the effort to the auction? A majority stake drew no bids, and that had forced the government to ease the terms as well. It also extended the deadline multiple times during the pandemic, sir. How much of losses are we looking at the national carrier that had to bear the brunt over the years, sir?
Well, I think even if we just count the financial year 21 loss, just the last year which was hit by pandemic, we call financial year 21 as March 21. The losses have accumulated to, which normal losses were 4,000 to 5,000 crores, but this year loss has been 10,000 crores. So I think Tata's, when they started pitching for it, when this whole process started, the proposition was still, I would say, attractive. I mean, attractive in the sense that there was some saving grace, but after the whole thing happened, the pandemic, and the way aviation industry has been hit, I think it's been a very, very tough year, and Tata's will have to struggle more than what they had planned earlier. I mean, the original plan, I'm sure, you see, Tata is already running an airline with Singapore Airlines, and it is into aviation. It is not that it's a new area for Tata's altogether. So I'm sure they have a strategy in place. But with the given economic situation, given the situation of aviation industry overall, I think Tata's will have to rethink, rejig the whole plan, because now since they were a bidder, so once the bid is approved, they have to take it over, because there's so many problems. There is some part of the fleet of Air India is aging. That fleet may have to be retired. A large number of, as I said, Air India team probably may have to be given golden handshake. They may have to probably bid goodbye to them, because Tata's may like to relook and make a younger fleet, because Tata's Air India is not just aircraft, but some of its very senior team members have become quite senior. So Tata's may like to get in younger blood, so which means that the golden handshake has to be done. I'm sure that is part of the bid, because whenever government disinvests, it always protects the interest of the people who've been with the airline, with the company for a very long time. So I think that interest would be protected. I'm sure as part of the agreement, that clause is there. Nobody is going to lose the job without, being taken care of as far as their future is concerned. But I think the other aspect is brand building, because Air India, over a period of time, although it has been a state-sponsored airline, when Indian Airlines was merged, that's when the losses started. I think certain erosion in brand values also happened today. When you book an Air India ticket, people start believing, the flight is going to be late, we are not going to get the same services as private airlines. So I think that brand building exercise would have to be redone. Tata's will have to invest some money in making it a brand which they can reckon, that people can reckon about. I think something which is drastically required to get the airline, not just financially, economically out of the crisis. I mean, when I say economically or financially, I mean the huge debt and the huge losses which have accumulated. But I think there is a brand building exercise which Tata's will have to do. And it is not that Tata's are new to all this. There have been takeovers, mergers, acquisitions several times earlier. And the good thing is that Tata has an experience of running an airline in India. And Vista is doing pretty well. I mean, it's one of the better airlines, one of the premium airlines. Let us see how does Tata integrate the two businesses. That is one with Singapore Airlines. Right. The other is Air India. I think they're going to merge them together, and they may come up with a unified brand which can stand out and revive the Indian aviation sector.
Right. Also, Mr. Kohli, as we're talking about this, there is going to be a large amount of assets which actually the Tata Group then acquires, as part of this deal, because it's going to be about 4,400 domestic and 1,800 international landing and parking spots. There's also about 900 slots at airports overseas. So for the Tata Group, it will also perhaps be giving them a wider width as far as the aviation sector is concerned.
Well, undoubtedly, strategically, I think when Tata had come forward for the bid, they always had this in mind. I think the most attractive part of Air India bid, if you ask me, was because some of the aircrafts are state-of-the-art. Whereas on one side, there is an aging fleet, but on the other side, some of the aircrafts are state-of-the-art. Some of the finest and the biggest aircraft are with Air India. And of course, as you said, it has prime slots in landing. It has prime slots in parking overseas. It has some very strategic alliances with other airlines. So I think that was always counting on Tata's mind. And, to be now becoming probably the biggest airline, I think the next struggle would be the market share, because Indigo was dominating the market for the last few years. Now with Tata Vista and Air India coming together, I'm sure Tata's would be aiming at the largest market share. And it will be a very interesting phenomena which will happen. But, we need to keep in mind that when the government opened Air India bid to rest of the world, in fact, it was floated internationally. What we noticed that apart from SpiceJet and Tata's, nobody else came forward. And one of the reasons recently was the pandemic. But even before the pandemic, It wasn't like a sought-after deal. And the reason was accumulated losses, the reason was accumulated debt. I think, as they say, the devil lies in the detail. We need to see what all is being handed over to Tata. Well, after all, we should keep in mind that even the Prime Minister travels by Air India. We've got Air India One, which even the Prime Minister uses. So I'm sure some part of the proprietary of Air India, especially the VIP, the VVIP travel, would be retained by the government. I don't think everything is going to be privatized. So we need to see the devil
Mr.
in the
Kohli, you know,
fine details.
just a minute ago, you were talking about Indigo having the largest share. Now, the other part of it, what actually, you know, the Tatas acquire will be the low-cost airline of Air India, which is known as the Air India Express. Now, that is something, you know, that would help the Tata Group, because that's a sector which is going to only grow, because a large number of people in India are looking to these low-cost airlines now.
Yes, Air India Express was another, I would say, icing on the cake for Tatas, because when they were looking at the whole proposal, because Tata Vista is not into budget flying, it is not into smaller airlines, it is not into, you know, that cheap travel. Now suddenly, you know, one bid gives Tata so many benefits. You get the budget airline, you get the parking facilities, you get the strategic alliances, you get the brand, you get a very good fleet, some part of it, of course. So I think it's a bouquet. And in that bouquet is a mix, because you can't say that everything that Tata is taking over is probably hunky-dory. I'm sure Tata is going to inherit some of the, long-standing problems which Air India was suffering from. But having said that, knowing Tata very well, Tata plays its numbers, its game very strategically. I don't think this bid is driven by emotions, although it's homecoming for Tatas. But I really don't think it is driven by emotions. It is driven by, a feeling that this was originally our brand, so we should get it back. I'm sure there is a clear business interest in it. There is a clear strategy behind this. And it will be a very interesting wait-and-watch game as to how Tata is able to revive this, I would say, white elephant, which the government felt it is on its head with mounting losses. So I think the game becomes very interesting in aviation industries going forward. And everybody connected with economy, with the aviation industry would be looking forward to how this pans out.
Absolutely. Mr. Kohli, as you're pointing out, it's going to be really interesting to watch out how this acquisition actually pans out. Thank you for the moment.